What's up, everybody? It's Big Jack and Glenn back with another NFL Best Bets video. This is week 10 already of the 2022 NFL season. Last week, terrible. Me, 0-3, takes my record to 10-16-1 on the season. Jack did manage to get a win and a push, but he did have one loss as well, taking his record to 11-14-2 on the season. We really need to get these records heading in the right direction. So that's what me and Big Jack are going to try to do this week. Jack, any thoughts on your games last week? Obviously, we moved to 1-2 on the one game we picked together, but any thoughts otherwise?
Just that it was a bit. I think the comment I made in regards to that Packers play was there's no way that they lose the game. It's just a matter of whether or not they cover.
And
And
they
I
lost.
was, I was shocked that
They
they lost to the
lost.
Lions.
They lost.
But like you said, we are dead in the middle at the halfway point with the 18-week NFL season now. Got a lot of work to do to make up some ground and hopefully get this thing in the green down the stretch.
Well, let's start with this week. Let's get this ship headed in the right direction. I'll start with the first pick of the week. The first pick I like the Giants -6.5 at home versus the Texans. I think the Giants are a legitimately good football team. I think the Texans are one of the worst teams in the league. On top of it, the Texans can't stop the run, and Saquon's been pretty good this year. I just think this is a game the Giants probably dominate. Got to hope they win by 7 or more. That's the first pick of the week. Giants -6.5 at home.
I believe the Giants are off a bye too.
Don't know off the top of my head. But hopefully they are. That'll work in my favor, baby.
Yeah. All right. Glad you didn't factor it in. But solid pick. I think, like you said, the Texans are. I think they are the worst team in the league. Lovie Smith can kind of get his guys going from time to time where they're able to compete, but they're not a good team. I think the Giants can win that game by a touchdown. My first pick, I'm actually going to go with the early game over in Germany, I believe is where they're playing. It's Bucks, Seahawks. Bucks, I'm taking them. They are -2.5 at the moment. I think that they ride the momentum of that late comeback win against really a bad Rams team right now, but it was still a big win for them in their season, considering how weak the division is. They're still in first place in the division after that. I think that they kind of, like I said, carry that momentum forward. Brady, continues to get more and more in tune with those guys. Hopefully they stop dropping so many passes and they just, it's November now. It's time to go. No more messing around. They know the NFC is wide open. Anyone can come out of there. So I think they keep taking the steps towards building to be a playoff contender. And I think the Seahawks, excellent year. Got nothing to say negative against them. Hats off to Pete Carroll. Might end up being coach of the year. But I think this week they take a little bit of a drumming. So I'm happy to, lay the 2.5.
Right on. Bucks by a field goal. Let's see it, baby. All right, second pick of the week. I'm going to go Packers as 5-point dogs at home versus the Cowboys. Packers look bad right now. They really do. Their backs are up against the wall. They're 3-6 going up against a pretty good Cowboys team. Everything tells you the Cowboys should probably dominate this game, but I think this is one of those just back against the wall. Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur, do you have anything left in the tank? It's now or never. Packers +5 at home. I think they'll be able to run the ball. I got a gut feeling there against that Cowboys front. I think they come up with a good game plan to attack them. Packers +5 at home. They keep it close. I think they probably win outright. Packers +5 at home.
Oddly enough, I was going to save it. That was going to be my last pick, but since it's the same one, once again, back-to-back weeks, maybe we're a bunch of suckers, and given our records, we probably are. But I am also going to be on the Packers +5. I Rodgers had one of the worst performances, if not the worst performance of his career, considering where all three of his interceptions came in the red zone and deep in the red zone at that. I think two of them were in the actual end zone.
Yep.
So I think he bounces back. I think he is the type of person who holds a grudge. He hates Mike McCarthy, from what I understand. Even though they won the Super Bowl together, it seemed like the way things fell out in the end got ugly. I think that he'll want to make a statement. He's not going to want Mike McCarthy to come into Lambeau and beat him by at least a touchdown. So I like him to keep it close, be competitive. I think that a lot of people are viewing the Packers as dead in the water. Gary, after last week, he's now out for the year, one of their best defensive players. So they got a lot working against them. I just think this is a spot where they put a good performance out there, kind of a last-ditch effort to salvage the season and make a playoff push down the stretch. And just like I just talked about with the Bucs, the NFC is so weak. That's at least in my view. I'm sure,
Yep.
Maybe guys who are in it can't necessarily view it like that. They're out there getting their ass kicked every week, so they probably don't think it's that bad. But I think anyone, is confident enough that if they get it going, they can,
Make a run.
light the candle and, make a run at it. So I think this is a week the Packers hopefully do that to be competitive and, even if they lose, just keep it within that, field goal range.
Absolutely. All right. My last pick of the week, I'm going to go with the Browns as 3.5-point dogs at Miami. The one thing that does worry me is the Miami weather. But other than that, I think this Browns team will be able to move the ball, score points on the Dolphins. This might be a little bit of recency bias watching that Bears game last week. Obviously, Justin Fields did awesome, and he does some stuff that very few players can do. But overall, the Miami defense did not really impress me at all. And obviously, their offense is pretty good, but I think Cleveland's got a pretty solid defense. I think they run the ball with Nick Chubb very well. I think their offensive line is built for a game like this where they can absolutely dominate. Kind of hit all the keys to victory I had last week for the Bears, but I think the Browns go into Miami. They keep it close. I think they probably win outright. Browns plus 3.5 at Miami. That's the pick.
Cleveland looked great last time they played. Dominated a pretty solid Cincinnati team. So, they got maybe a little momentum. They're also coming fresh off a bye from last week. So, probably riding some positive vibes into Miami. Like you said, the only thing that deters me in that one is, northern team kind of going down to Miami this time of year. I think that weather does start to play.
Doesn't bode well.
Yeah, it starts to play a big factor, but I don't hate the pick. I'm not on Miami, so it's not like I completely see the other side of it, but that does worry me to an extent. My last pick is going to be the Buffalo Bills minus 5.5, if I'm not mistaken. They're playing Minnesota. Bills are at home. I've said it before, probably repeating myself. I think Minnesota's a lot better than most people probably do. They're now 7-1 after a ugly win, but a win is a win, especially in the NFL when it's so tough to get them. But I do think there's a lot of chatter going around about this, Josh Allen shoulder injury. I think it's a narrative that's probably a little blown out of proportion. And I think that the Bills, coming off an extremely disappointing loss to the Jets, a couple weeks now where they've won games prior to the Jets, but they haven't really been covering their numbers. I think that this is a statement game for them where they were kind of down for what they probably thought was a lesser opponent in the Jets, even though their record would indicate otherwise. I think this is a team that they'll be ready for. They know that, other than the Eagles, this is sort of the creme de la creme in the NFC right now. And I think they show up at home, take care of business. I like it to be, a rout. Honestly, I could see them winning by 2, even 3 touchdowns. So I'll take the 5.5. Just got to win by 6, but I'm hoping for a no sweat in that one.
Hell yeah. All right, well, I see 5 winners here. Picks, once again, just so everybody knows, I'm taking Giants minus 6.5 at home versus the Texans. Packers plus 5 at home versus the Cowboys. The Browns plus 3.5 at Miami. And Jack is taking the Tampa Bay Bucks minus 2.5 in Germany versus Seattle. He's also on the Packers plus 5 at home versus the Cowboys. And lastly, he's rounding it out our parlay ticket with Bills minus 5.5 home versus the Vikings. Big Jack, this could be the week. We need to get it rolling in the right direction, my man.
Yep, amen. It's got to be the week, man.
It's got to be.
Time to get moving. Not horrible, but it's not great. Got to.
Mine's pretty terrible. Mine's walking that line of terrible right now. But anyways, like, subscribe, comment. We'll be back next week with another video. Hopefully we pick some winners this week. Love y'all. Peace.